I'm Brittany Lewis with Forbes Breaking News. Senator Dick Durbin spoke on the Senate floor Monday after Minority Leader Mitch McConnell applauded the Supreme Court and said Democrats were planning a tax hike. Durbin hit the Kentucky Republican over what he characterized as breaking precedent in order to ensure Donald Trump got 3 of his nominees onto the Supreme Court. The Illinois Democrat then claimed most Americans would support tax hikes on the rich if it lowered the cost of prescription drugs. Take a listen to the Majority Whip's remarks.
It is little wonder that the senator from Kentucky is praising the Supreme Court. More than any other member of the United States Senate, he has been instrumental in choosing the members of this court and has gone to lengths unseen in the history of the United States Senate to reach that goal. Remember Merrick Garland, the nominee of President Barack Obama, who this Senate leader, senator from Kentucky, refused to meet with or even consider for his nomination for almost a year. That's right, he kept a vacancy on the Supreme Court for more than 8 months so that he could perhaps see his prayers answered and a Republican president be elected. Well, it happened. Donald Trump won. Merrick Garland had no chance to even be considered. Barack Obama was denied the authority given to him as president during the last year of his term, and the senator from Kentucky waited patiently until he could bring to the court Justice Gorsuch, a conservative to his liking. But that wasn't the end of his effort to make the Supreme Court what he wanted it to be. At the end of the Trump term, there was another vacancy on the court with the death of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And at that point, the senator from Kentucky decided to break the rules in the opposite direction. It wasn't a slowdown this time in completing the vacancy, filling the vacancy. It was an acceleration, a speed up. And in that instance, they broke most of the precedents in the Senate in terms of considering Supreme Court nominees for Amy Coney Barrett. So President Trump was able, thanks to the complicity of the senator from Kentucky, to appoint 3 members of the Supreme Court. The rulings in the last several weeks are just what the senator from Kentucky and others had prayed for: a reversal of the rights of American families across the board. Basically, the right to access to reproductive freedom for women in this country was attacked in a way that few thought would ever happen. And now we are living with the consequences. The senator from Kentucky just said Democrats are trying to change the subject. I'm not changing the subject. There'll be a hearing before the Senate Judiciary Committee tomorrow on this decision by the Supreme Court on overturning Roe versus Wade. And I want to say it's interesting that when the senator from Kentucky is looking for moral and academic support, he turns to an unheard of professor from Yale to quote. He uses that professor as a source to say, don't worry, just because we took away the freedom of women when it comes to their reproductive health, we're not going to go so far as to address any decisions on contraception, family planning, and the like. Well, I might recommend to the senator from Kentucky that he read the decision in Dobbs overturning Roe versus Wade and the concurring opinion from Justice Clarence Thomas, which said specifically that very thing. Now he said that we've done Roe versus Wade. It's time to look at cases that address the issue of privacy, the issue of same-sex marriage, the issues of contraception, explicitly using those words. So to suggest that some Yale professor should be trusted more than this justice on the court who's given us fair warning is hard to understand. There's also this talk about the Democrats in favor of a tax hike. Let me put this in perspective. The Democrats are trying to achieve something that the vast majority of the American people want desperately: find a way to control the spiraling cost of prescription drugs. I can't think of a single issue more popular with the American people, Democrats, Republicans, and independents. And so the senators have been working on it. Senator Shaheen, Senator Schumer, and Senator Manchin and others have been discussing ways to reduce the cost of insulin to no more than $35 a month. Wouldn't that be a break for the millions of diabetic Americans who many times have to cut the amount of insulin that they use because they can't afford it? To have affordable, life-saving medicine, isn't that something we all should applaud? And doesn't it reduce cost overall for us to bring down the spiraling cost of prescription drugs? The senator from Kentucky talks a lot about the cost American families are facing. We know that's a fact. one of the first things they'll identify are the cost of prescription drugs. We want to do something about it. The senator from Kentucky has said no, he won't support this effort to corral in these costs of prescription drugs as long as there's an increase in taxes. Turns out the increase in taxes were the Trump tax cuts for the wealthiest people in America. Yes, I think they ought to pay more in taxes, and if they're paying more in taxes, it means that families pay less for prescription drugs. Sign me up for it, and sign most Americans up for it. The notion of tax hikes on the wealthiest people in this country does not strike me as inflationary. It strikes me as common sense if it's then turning into lower prescription drug prices for American families.